There is a subtle emptiness that resides within many of us, a quiet ache that resists naming, a shadow that lingers at the edges of consciousness. It manifests as restlessness, a sense that something essential has been lost, something so primal that no amount of comfort, achievement, or affirmation can fill the void. You may have surrounded yourself with love, measured your worth through milestones, explored countless therapies, devoured self-help wisdom, tried meditation, journaling, every tool modern psychology offers. And yet, that hollow space endures. Carl Jung, the meticulous cartographer of the human soul, suggested that for most, the origin of this unseen wound traces back to the first bond ever formed, the one with our mother. Pause before resistance arises. This is not a meditation on blame. The notion of blame is a trap, a diversion from the real work of understanding. What we are exploring is not accusation, but illumination. It is an unflinching gaze into the invisible forces that have quietly orchestrated your choices, your relationships, your self-concept, long before language could define them. This, perhaps, is one of the most profound psychological truths you will ever encounter. Jung, alongside his insightful student Erich Neumann, conceptualized what they called the Great Mother archetype. This is not the particular woman who bore you, but a universal, primal blueprint etched into the collective unconscious of humanity. It represents the psychic template of what mother signifies at the deepest strata of our being. And like all archetypes, it is dual in nature. One face embodies the nurturing, life-giving mother, warmth, protection, sustenance, a sense of being held by the cosmos itself. The other is the consuming, oppressive mother, devouring, abandoning, suffocating, whispering the relentless verdict that you are not enough and you never will be. In a nurturing environment, the actual mother serves as a vessel for the good mother archetype, providing what psychology terms containment, a secure, emotional base from which the child can explore the world, confident in the knowledge of a sanctuary to return to. But when the mother, burdened by her own unresolved trauma, depression, or childhood wounds, cannot offer this containment, the psyche fractures. The archetype cleaves. The child does not internalize the nurturing presence. Instead, the shadow of the terrible mother imprints itself, a pre-verbal shaping of the self that occurs long before consciousness emerges. The result is what can only be described as an existential freefall, a profound, wordless certainty that one does not fully belong, that the ground beneath could give way at any moment. Many misattribute this tremor to personality, labeling themselves anxious or sensitive. It is not identity, it is the echo of a wound. Jung's insights are uniquely compelling because they were not theoretical musings detached from experience. His own mother, Emilie Preiswerk, was troubled. When Jung was merely 3, she was hospitalized for a severe psychiatric episode. Imagine the child's world collapsing as the sole axis of safety disappears. In his memoirs, Memories, Dreams, Reflections, Jung described her as possessing dual personalities, the familiar warmth of an ordinary mother, and an uncanny, archaic presence that unsettled him to his core. Following her hospitalization, Jung confessed that the word love became synonymous with loss and unreliability, a haunting revelation. The man who would map the deepest territories of the unconscious was himself shaped by absence. His life's work, concepts of the shadow, the anima, individuation, can be read as a courageous endeavor to reconcile his own primordial wound. This is the essence of what gives his psychology its profound depth. Jung was not merely observing humanity. He was navigating the treacherous terrain of his own inner void. Expanding on Jung's foundation, the French psychoanalyst André Green articulated the dead mother complex. This term does not denote death in the literal sense, but describes a mother who is psychically absent, present in body but unavailable in spirit. She may be trapped in depression, dissociation, grief, or anxiety, or simply emotionally unreachable. The child of a dead mother absorbs an unspoken lesson. My vitality, my joy, my very existence overwhelms her. In response, the child self-silences, assuming the role of caretaker, dimming their own presence to protect what little connection remains. They learn to anticipate the emotional needs of the mother before they master reading words or navigating the world, becoming, in essence, the parent of their own parent. This dynamic resonates in the emotional armor we see in literature and film. While Hunting embodies this pattern, his compulsive self-sabotage and guardedness cracking only when confronted with the repeated assurance, "It's not your fault." That cinematic moment mirrors a psychological truth. The spell of the dead mother begins to falter when the child, now adult, witnesses their own inherent worth reflected outside the shadow of absence. As adults, these children may carry a chronic, low-grade depression, not sadness, but a pervasive flatness, a ghostly echo of the mother who could never truly animate their world. This is not abstract theory. It manifests as lived experience. The mother wound erects an invisible architecture within the psyche, a framework of what I call the performance of worthiness, a compulsive belief that existence itself must be earned. You may become the overachiever, the perfectionist, the one who collapses the moment motion ceases, tethered to accomplishments as proof of your right to be. Rest feels perilous. Stillness is a mirror to the void. This wound also reveals itself as the hungry ghost described in Buddhist psychology, an insatiable yearning that no connection, material gain, or achievement can satisfy. In intimacy, it drives patterns of anxious clinging, seeking in another the validation that should have been provided in infancy, or swings to avoidance, constructing walls so insurmountable that abandonment seems impossible. Both are expressions of a primal imprint, forged in the earliest environment of human development. There is another layer, often unspoken, the mother as the first model of embodiment. If she was alienated from her own physicality, treated her body with disdain, or rejected her femininity, this template may unconsciously shape one's own relationship to the body. Issues with food, self-image, or a pervasive sense of alienation from one's own form often trace back to this silent transmission. For men, this imprint takes on an additional psychological dimension. The mother is the first encounter with the feminine, the living template for the anima, the inner feminine archetype mediating emotional depth, relational capacity, creativity, and connection to the unconscious. When the maternal relationship is fraught with absence or pain, the anima becomes distorted. Men may unconsciously reenact Don Juanism, perpetually seeking the mother in women, idealizing and then rejecting them when they inevitably fail to fill the void, or manifest as passive, emotionally dependent figures seeking maternal care from partners rather than authentic intimacy. Healing demands separating the anima from the personal mother, seeing others as they are rather than as vessels for unresolved longing. For women, the mother wound carves different, equally profound patterns. A controlling or invasive mother may induce rejection of one's own femininity, leading to intellectual fortresses and emotional distance. A cold or absent mother may drive the daughter to pursue an impossible ideal of perfection, sacrificing authenticity to approximate a model that never existed. And the daughter who over-identifies with her mother absorbs her limitations and unfulfilled desires, mistaking them for her own, burying the authentic self beneath layers of inherited experience. Healing, contrary to common self-help narratives, is not about blame. Anger, grief, and resentment are valid, but remaining fixed in blame perpetuates the tether to childhood wounds. Jung insisted that the central psychological task is to dissolve projections, to restore what has been unconsciously displaced to the individual who lost it. In essence, pointing the finger outward relinquishes the very power needed to reclaim oneself. The mother was herself a child, inheriting wounds beyond her understanding. Recognition of this lineage of pain is the gateway to liberation. Healing is not for her. It is for yourself and for every relationship you will ever hold moving forward. The journey of healing begins with grief, authentic, embodied mourning for the mother one needed but did not receive. This is not self-pity, but an acknowledgement of profound absence. One must accept the empty well, recognize that the sustenance was never forthcoming. In that recognition lies the threshold of freedom. From grief flows the act of reparative work. This is conscious, deliberate nurturing of the inner child, the part of yourself still waiting and hoping. It requires listening, validating, and speaking to that part with words that were absent. I am here. I will not abandon you. You are enough as you are. This is not a singular exercise, but a daily commitment, a restructuring of the internal environment, cultivating the presence of the good mother within. Practical embodiment of this principle is deceptively simple yet profound. Place one hand over the heart, the other over the abdomen. Close the eyes. Breathe slowly, deeply, with intention. Feel the warmth and weight of your hands, the gravity of your own care. Even 2 minutes of this practice sends a signal to the nervous system. I am held. I am safe. Through repetition, the body begins to encode this safety, the earliest patterns of maternal presence instantiated within oneself. This truth, of the mother's influence, of the archetypal imprint, of the wound and the path to repair, is not a burden. It is liberation. It signals the cessation of the search for an external savior, the commencement of the profound, sacred labor of self-parenting. Jung named this process individuation, the journey toward wholeness, the reclamation of the self that existed before the wound cast its shadow. It is neither easy nor linear, yet it remains the most consequential odyssey one can undertake. It is the slow, deliberate passage back to oneself. As you consider these reflections, contemplate the patterns that have silently governed your own behavior, the subtle echoes of absence in your life. Recognition is the first tremor in the edifice of change. And if you feel compelled to witness more of this journey, to navigate the labyrinth of the human psyche and confront the unseen forces shaping your reality, linger here with us. Subscribe to Beyond the Twist and join in the ongoing exploration of the mind's deepest terrain. Like this video, not for me, but for the quiet work it inspires within you. Stay, observe, reflect. The voyage into your own consciousness has only just begun.